Mental Illness: How to Kill Negativity, Influence Your Mind, and Learn Body Language Techniques. Written by George D. Goodsell. Narrated by DMS. Introduction. Brainwashing, otherwise known as coercive persuasion, is attempting to change the thoughts and beliefs of another person against their will. In psychological studies, brainwashing, also known as thought reform, is studied under the sphere of social influence. The social influence is an everyday matter. It is putting together all the possible ways in which people can influence and consequently change other people's attitudes, behaviors, and beliefs. The compliance method, for example, is geared toward changing a person's behavior and has nothing to do with a person's beliefs and attitudes. The persuasion method, on its part, aims at changing a person's attitude. The education method aims at trying to cause changes in the person's beliefs. Brainwashing is a peculiar form of social influence in that it is severe and combines all three approaches to trigger changes in a person's way of thinking without the person's consent and often against their will. Due to the fact that brainwashing is such an invasive form of influence, it requires conditions of isolation and total dependency of the victim. This is the reason why we mostly hear of brainwashing taking place in totalistic cults or prison camps. The agent or brainwasher must have absolute control over the victim, having a total control over sleep patterns, eating, communication, and the getting of other basic human needs. The agent efficiently breaks down the victim's sense of identity to the point that it ceases to exist. The agent is then able to replace the missing identity with a new set of behaviors, beliefs, and attitudes that work in the current environment. However, many experts believe that even when victims are subjected to extreme brainwashing conditions, the effects are most often short-lived. They argue that the victim's old identity is not entirely erased but remains in hiding and will begin to return immediately. The new identity can no longer be reinforced. The famous expert psychologist Robert J. Lifton, in his study on former prisoners of the Korean War and Chinese war camps, discovered that the victims...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?